Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Okay, let's go.
Are you ready? I mean, I can turn it on.
We can, no. Let's go.
I know you eating. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the bad customer service. That's why I have a problem. I'm in Memphis, and you already know it's a black town like Baltimore. So you already know how we.
No, but there's been some good. Let me tell you, there's a difference between Baltimore and Memphis, a big one.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, they see weave as a hair bonnet. There you wear hair bonnets, and here they just wear weave. And you wear the bonnet in the house. You don't leave the house with the bonnet on. You put the bonnet in. You put the bonnet on almost like a prayer cloth in church.
Yes.
And when you leave, you take it off.
Okay.
Now, the other thing people need to remember, before Memphis was even a city, black people had been living in Baltimore. You see, Baltimore was incorporated in 1724, but people were living here, like 1700.
Mm-hmm.
So Baltimore has one of the oldest black communities in the country, and they've been here all that time. And so they were urban dwellers. What I saw in Tennessee was there were people who had just gotten out the cotton fields of Arkansas and other places, or for that matter, Brownsville and places like that. You had that in this area. Let me be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Just across the Chesapeake Bay is Eastern Shore, Maryland, and it's worse than the Delta, Mississippi. Okay, it is. We don't even go over there. I mean, not even for the beach. You just stay away from there. So we have an area like that, but the people here are a little more sophisticated. They are. So I was in the store, like the guy at the counter. One guy is very, very sophisticated, mm-hmm. and then there's one that is new who's learning. So it depends. Baltimore, it has a conundrum of you can be very sophisticated, world-class black folk with some of the lowest, rowdiest, dirtiest, bombed-out junkies of all time. Superfly would be afraid to sell dope here. Okay. It's all at the same time. See, Baltimore is sort of like the New Orleans of the East Coast. You know how New Orleans has this long, long history? It's a port city. It's the same thing for Baltimore. So you've got all these Catholic cathedrals and such here. It's a very historic place, and the black people here have some degree of understanding of how significant they are. Think of it this way. New Orleans created Satchmo, right? Louis Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Two of Louis Armstrong's proteges are Cab Calloway and Billie Holiday. People often don't see Baltimore as being on the cutting edge of practically everything. Abolition, civil rights, black liberation, black folks having guns, black folks having votes, black people having their own first political party. Black people had all kinds of businesses and unions and stuff before most black folks did all over the country. So people don't understand. Baltimore is completely underestimated. It is a very serious, culturally and historically rich black area.
I also, Dr. Short, with all due respect to Baltimore, I can't let you get away with disrespecting Memphis like that because you mentioned Louis Armstrong. But it was a black woman from Memphis that made him a superstar. His second wife, Lil Harder Armstrong, who was his mentor, Joe Oliver, a piano player. She discovered Louis Armstrong, forced him to leave King Oliver, sent him to New York to play for Fletcher Henderson, organized the Hot 5 and Hot 7 recordings. This is the foundation for modern American music. And she was one of the first successful female band leaders in jazz. And she helped create one of the greatest superstars in the history of American music. And she was born right here in Memphis, February 3rd, 1898. And everywhere that Louis Armstrong went, he had to deal with Memphis cats. Like when he was in Chicago, he played the Vendome Theater. The cat who ran the Vendome Theater was a very popular orchestra at the Vendome Theater ran by Erskine Tate, a Memphis cat who used to play for W.C. Handy. We went to New York. The greatest jazz trumpet player of that era in the early 20s was a guy named Johnny Dunn from Memphis who used to work with W.C. Handy. Some of the band members in Fletcher Henderson Band was from Memphis. Buster Bailey, one of the top clarinet players of that early jazz, was from Memphis. He did a song called Jazz Bro Brown with Bessie Smith. Memphis is the birthplace of modern America. You know, Holiday Inn was created here. FedEx was created here. The first supermarket was created in Memphis back in 1916, Piggly Wiggly. The first black millionaire of the South, Robert Church Sr., helped fund the career. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but Robert Church, the first accredited black millionaire of the South, supposedly who saved Memphis from oblivion, he helped finance the career of Ida B. Wells Barnett. Memphis was the fifth largest grocery market in the country around the time of the People Grocery lynches of 1892. You know, Ida B. Wells' best friend Tom Mouse got lynched, but no, she launched her career in Memphis as a newspaper reporter and editor. And then you look at, like I said, jazz. Charlie Parker's dad is from Memphis. Louis Armstrong's second wife is from Memphis. Jimmy Lunsford, who was credited as teaching the first jazz studies program anywhere in the world in the form of educational setting, started at Manassas back in the 50s. The band program was ran by Matthew Garrett, who's the father of Dee Dee Bridgewater, Grammy Award-winning singer who was born in Memphis. He also, you know, in that band, you include George Coleman, Charles Lloyd, Frank Strozier, Earl Mayburn, Hank Crawford, who was the band director for Ray Charles for a number of years. Miles Davis kept on getting all these guys from Manassas in his band in the early 60s, and he was saying what they're doing down there to create these musicians, not in realizing that his music hero, Jimmy Lunsford, started that tradition. You know, he was the house band leader at the Cotton Club. He took over the Cotton Club after Cab Calloway and Duke Ellington, was the number one attraction in the Apollo Theater for a whole decade, and was an aviation pioneer. He flew his own airplane. So Memphis is sophisticated like that. I could go on and on.
I didn't say Memphis isn't sophisticated.
I'm not. I got to rep my city though. I'm just saying, like, yes, you did. You said Baltimore was more sophisticated.
And I'm not knocking Memphis. I have people from Memphis.
Yeah, but I'm telling you just a little bit of history. Like, I'm not even touching on everything. What I'm saying is, I'm not even touching on everything, brother. I'm not even touching. I'm just a little bit.
I haven't even.
So respect my city. That's all I'm saying. Respect the city, man. Don't put us down like that.
I respect the city, but
all right,
Dr. King got shot there, and it is the capital of the Delta.
Right.
And with all due respect, there's no place that black people are more held down than there.
Right, because it's by design, though. It's by design.
So yeah, I know.
And the birthplace of modern black radio was born at WDIA in Memphis back in 1948. We birthed black radio, man, and we gave y'all Ida B. Wells.
I'm familiar with all of it, but like I'm saying to you, it's different because it's on the coast and you're in the interior. And we're the distribution hub of the country, though. We're the commercial hub of the country. Distribution run through Memphis. Yeah, but that hub, that hub was held by the B&O, Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. And so all the things, electric lights and other things, and electrical cars and all started in Baltimore. And I'm not a Baltimorean. I'm only trying to say to you.
Well, Thomas Edison used to work in Memphis back in the 1860s.
Yeah. Again, even before Edison was doing illumination, this was a pioneer for it. A pioneer for steel, a lot of it. You will not know this about Baltimore because like Memphis and like St. Louis, these upper South, these type cities lost commercially to the Civil War. The Civil War gave New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and other cities
who benefited from the war a major leap over southern cities. And whereas Memphis is a major city, it was never in the top 3. At one time, Baltimore was the number 3 largest city in the country. And for the first 100-some-odd years was in the top 5, maybe top 7 at least. And in terms of black communities, Baltimore had the largest urban black community in the country for the first 60 years of the Republic, or actually all the way up to the end of the Civil War.
Well, I'm going to tell you
and the largest free black population of any community in the country.
Well, Orange Mound in Memphis, Tennessee was the first place where black folks actually owned their homes.
Sorry, we're here in Baltimore. You're going to hear some alarms up in here.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to it.
At least it's a fire truck. And those dead bodies. Praise the Lord.
Memphis, we are used to that because they say we're the number 2 most dangerous city in the country. Well, I don't believe that. But in Memphis, you had Orange Mound that still exists to this day. It was the first community in the country where black folks owned their homes. It was a large home owning community called Orange Mound. It still exists to this day in Memphis.
Let me tell you something. Baltimore was the first city where blacks had their own political party. It's the first city where black people organized literally their own regiments to fight. And the black folk here they may not even know, the people walking around may not even know it.
Yeah, I know Nicholas Biddle.
They have a phenomenal history. Now, right now, they're in a downside. You have coons like Elijah Cummings.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I may not wear a condom, but I am somebody type leadership that people have, But I'm trying to say Baltimore. Of course, Billie Holiday is from here, and there are others.
I mean, we got a lot of people, what I'm saying is, I'll give you this. Nicholas Biddle was the first person wounded in the Civil War that happened in Baltimore. He was a black man. He was a black soldier. He was the first person that's the casualty of the Civil War as far as being wounded. Nicholas Biddle. Nick Biddle.
Mm-hmm.
I've been knowing this since elementary. Okay, I read my grandma's Black History World Book Encyclopedia edition from the 70s. But, it's still like that. We don't know who we are. In Philadelphia, try to make a claim on Billie Holiday, too. That's another story. But what I'm saying is,
Philadelphia gets overrated because of, one, it's in the north. But some of what Philadelphia gets is in Baltimore, too. People forget.
Yeah.
Baltimore was the portal for the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the furthest point south where you could kind of raise some hell around abolition and not end up dead.
Right.
And remember, in the Civil Rights Movement, Baltimore was the last city that you could ride black and white. And when you got to D.C., you had to segregate. Baltimore is a home of Thurgood Marshall, Clarence Mitchell Sr., who was known as 101st Senator. He was so effective in arguing for black civil rights until they considered him a part of the Senate and he had no elected office. The NAACP, when it was effective, in particular in the late 50s, early 60s, 1 in 10 of its members were in the city of Baltimore. The people here have had to really fight. The first civil rights victory for the NAACP was won in the city of Baltimore in 1913. And it goes on that this city sort of pushed. In fact, the people from this city forced the University of Maryland to desegregate almost a little earlier, where black folks were going to State University, although in small numbers, before the 50s. Unheard of for the South. And the Thurgood Marshall wasn't smart enough to get into the University of Maryland. But a black woman attorney who was from Arkansas, but by the way, the mother of civil rights in Baltimore is from the Mississippi Delta, from Arkansas. So when you hear about Perrin Mitchell, Juanita Mitchell is from Arkansas.
Okay.
How about that? So we're compromised. A lot of the struggle came from other places. We need So that's one thing. But the people here, this is like, if you come over here and spend time, it's like Philly, it's like New York, it's like Chicago, it's as corrupt as Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It's flat like Philly and D.C. Oh my God. We're looking at this crooked mayor, 11 counts, 175 years.
Yeah, can't confuse. She ain't gonna make it, man. They're gonna do something to her, or she gonna die this holiday.
I always say she stank. She has the right name. Look, she shouldn't have been a tramp. Okay, they hired. Let's have this quick conversation. I know it's gonna be offensive. Black women. White supremacy does not like you any more than it likes black men. It's just easier to play you on a different way than it is to play black men.
Mm-hmm.
They put all these black women in and corrupted them, and then they dog one after the other. And these sisters don't see it. And just because you can lift up your skirt, and unless you're faking calling yourself a trans man, the average black man can't lift up his skirt. At the end of the day, you're still a nigger. And we need to, as they say, walk together, children, don't you get it weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop pretending that our sexuality or sex or whatever separates us from each other. And what I mean by sexuality, I mean being male or female, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Being a woman does not put you in a different race from black people, okay? That's dumb. That's dumb. And for black men to think that being a black man separates them from black women, that's dumb. Well, I'm a man first. I'm black. No. No, I don't want any. That's you. Now, my dinner guest thought I was trying to like hold up on some rice.
Mm-hmm.
If I give you something that's yours, I don't care. Anyway, I'm not surprised this woman just lied so much. And I don't know if she was the mayor. No, she wasn't the mayor, but one of the mayors refused to give the people a living wage. Mm-hmm. Remember that? The people won about $12 an hour. She said no, that she's stealing. Now, let's talk a little bit about something else. Roger Stone, who I spoke to yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're going to tell you that Roger Stone is just this extreme anti-black racist. Not exactly. In fact, not at all. However, I will agree with anyone. A lot of people in either party are anti-black and hate our guts.
Mm.
That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
I've met people in both parties who might be slightly supremacist-oriented, that they like things predominantly white control, but they do not hate black people as individuals. They'll do stuff for you, they'll do stuff for you black people won't do. And black people say, I wish you the best. Well, damn it, do something for me. Don't just wish me the best, do it. No. What I know, one of the things that made people mad is that Stone helped Trump win. Stone, Dr. Corsi, and some other people were worried about Trump losing the election in the summer of 2016 because Trump didn't have the smartest people around him running his campaign like he doesn't have right now. Trump should have 40% of the black support in this country. The Democrats, even now, he's got about 22%, it says the NAACP. The Democrats are going to have to almost like give black folks fried chicken wings and reparations to hope to win in 2020 because we're so sick of them. And Obama messed it up, and ugly James Cagney and drag-looking Hillary Clinton was the worst candidate. I mean, that's like sending Lucifer to audition to be the lead soprano in the choir in heaven. Come on. It wasn't going to happen. So let's get back to my point. Stone is an old school party boss type person where I do for you if you do for me, whatever color you are. And he says what he thinks, like Trump does. Now, he dogged Roland Martin, of which I called and I thanked him because everybody knows I think Roland Martin looks like an Afrocentric Betty Boop. And,
oh my God.
And he does look like Betty Boop. He needs to get the curls out. Just go bonehead. I mean, your head don't look good, but you need to do the curls. I mean, there's nothing you can really do when you have a head shape like that. You can get a hat. If you had a toupee, you'd look like a seal with the process. So, deal with it. Okay, yeah, I'm talking about him. So, look, and he stole those questions. What did Roland and Donna Brazile, her big lumberjack, I mean, I'm telling you, she must have a size 15 shoe. I mean, that thing was making Bigfoot imprints in the ground when I was around her at Al Gore's house. I mean, I'm serious. I don't know, she's like a cross between a Bigfoot and a black person. Got big feet, man. Kamala should get her to come out and stomp out the forest fires for her. Something big. Anyway, let me go back. They stole questions to help Hillary. Why couldn't they steal some stuff for Flint, steal some stuff for Freddie Gray or Big Mike? You know what? The old school black politicians had game. They would run tricks, sell pies, do something to give black folks a heads up. These people have all this power and influence and do nothing for our community. So Roger Stone made fun of what's his face, Betty Boop, Boop's brother. Okay, yeah. I call him Rollover Martin, and he looks like he's been rolled over. And he apologized to Roland Martin after insulting him, and Roland Martin refused to accept the apology. Now, Hillary Clinton called Donna Brazile a big black buffalo.
Wow.
And I'm certain that they accepted the apology. I guess if you're a Democrat and you say something racist, it's forgivable. If you're a Republican, you say something, you won't forgive it because people want to do that. I was just talking to this dude about reparations, and that Trump had asked the CBC to give him some stuff about what black folks had, and they refused to give it to him.
Wow.
Even if he was lying. I mean, I would took it over to make him lie. They were afraid he was going to give it. If he does, then people will leave. Now, back to Roger Stone. He said something about Al Sharpton, another person that I like seeing people make fun of, who also looks like a bobblehead doll up with anorexia nervosa. In fact, I would imagine if you had an overweight Dracula and he had like a gastric bypass, he would look like Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is an agent. Al Sharpton ain't doing nothing to no black people. And Al Sharpton, I'm putting out that Roger Stone's as a racist. Do you know that when that dude, when Sharpton ran for the Senate, whatever he ran for in New York, do you know that Roger Stone financed Al Sharpton's campaign?
Wow.
Did you know that Roger Stone raised millions of dollars to fight against mass incarceration of black people in the state of New York? Racists or not, want us to be Republicans or not, show me some damn Democrats that raised millions of dollars, I'm talking about 20 years ago, to get us out of jail. You see Trump saying stuff against mass incarceration? Who the hell do you think he got it from before the woman with the big titties and so forth? What's her name? Kardashian?
Yeah,
okay, before she showed up with her big behind, someone else was saying that. Now, if Trump hears with his scrotum instead of his ears, Roger Stone probably didn't get an argument through as well as Kardashian's big behind. So Stone has been on the right side of many issues, love or hate black folks. And we got a congressional caucus, black caucus supposedly, full of black folks who don't get it, who are never on the right side of anything that we want, and we like them. I don't get it. Now, let's do something else. In July 2016, when people were worried about Trump losing to Hillary Clinton because they had planned to steal the election, they began looking to find a way to change the landscape to give Trump a victory. And Roger Stone and them were interested in playing, if nothing else,
because he got fired by Trump to get back into Trump's good graces as relevant, exaggerated his connection to Julian Assange. He had none. He was misused by a guy named Randy Credico who lied and manipulated and didn't deliver, and yet he was benefiting on his platform and in his bottom line from the work product of Stone. And they used a feud between a lying-ass white man with another white man as evidence that somebody colluded with the Russians. Let me clarify. Roger Stone worked for Richard Nixon, who had more missiles built to blow up Russia than anybody walking the earth. Why would someone whose hero is Richard Nixon, who's ready with mutually assured destruction to just blow up everybody if we can't get our way, why would he suddenly go after being an anti-communist his whole life, run over to the Russians? It doesn't even make any sense. That's like that lesbian all of a sudden saying she was in love with Bill Cosby. Now, goodness will. I mean, it's not true. So there was no evidence. We sat in the court. I was there all but 2 days. There was nothing that proved any kind of collusion whatsoever. It was all speculation from the government to punish him. And one of the things that was making the government people most upset was they referenced it in hushed tones, Libya. They kept saying that information on Libya and the attempted murder of a pastor from India named Reverend Paul came from WikiLeaks. This is a damn lie. A man named James and a woman named Joanne Moriarty and a man named Raymond Fontroy and a man named Dr. Randy Short took information to the Trump campaign to punish Hillary Clinton for their role in trying to have a former member of Congress by the name of Reverend Walter Fontroy, my pastor, assassinated in Libya in 2011. And we wanted revenge. Yes, they wanted to kill my pastor, someone I grew up with. When you see me with somebody, think about what it must mean in the larger terms as a black person. Do I not know that folks wear MAGA hats on because some don't like black people? Sure. But I know folks who wear suits that don't like black people. I know folks that wear preacher's robes in mega churches that are often coon preachers that don't like black people. So Roger Stone exposed that Hillary Clinton was behind the mass enslavement and mass murder of black people in North Africa, and they want to punish him for this. He also exposed the Clintons being involved in human trafficking, drug running, and genocide in Haiti and West Papua. And you put this out before black folks and say, the number 3 man under Martin Luther King was Walter Fontroy, and Hillary Clinton wanted him dead for trying to prevent black folks from being enslaved and exterminated. And his reward is his murder? Put that in a room full of anybody black, and they can't look at Hillary the same way. And fact that Hillary was involved was that when I was on Radio 1 denouncing Hillary Clinton for assassination plot, the U.S. government overturned its own policies and let Fontroy come back to the United States with an agreement he can't talk about what happened to him. And Obama sat back and let this go on. So I blame him as much that you would murder one of the heroes of the civil rights movement, an elder, a founder of the Congressional Black Caucus, a leader of the anti-apartheid struggle, a leader of the Pan-Africanist movement, and Roger Stone tried to expose that, and Negroes are asking me why I was walking with him. You know I don't give a damn. You know that.
Right. I always
and when he goes to court, you're gonna see me again. They're lucky I wasn't naked.
Well, Dr. Shaw, are you there?
So look, he was right on that. There's something else that you need to know. We had a whole list of people that we wanted to lean on Trump to pardon. At the top of the list, Jamil Al-Amin, a.k.a. H. Brown, right, Assata Shakur, all the damn Black Panthers that have been locked up for the better part of 50 years. I said all of them should be out. Stone was down for it. Pardon Marcus Garvey. Give a generalship to Charles Young. More money for HBCUs. to investigate why the Department of Agriculture doesn't give money to black people. This is what, but because there's a group of people within the Republican Party and around Trump, they don't care about even white people. They're just greedy. They didn't want people like Stoneman because they don't want black folks to have any influence in any party. They don't want them in the Republican Party. They don't want them in the Democratic Party. They don't want us existing. They don't want us breathing, walking around. They don't want us begging for change. They may want us for some sex porno videos or something like that, for when they're kids before they throw you in a mass grave somewhere. But what does that have to do with this one man? And something else I need to say, he was the one that pushed for the pardon for Marcus Garvey and for other black political prisoners. Is he a hero to black people? No, not necessarily. Is he doing it for expedient political purposes? Maybe. But compare that to all the Negroes in Congress that should have been cutting deals for us. You mean a white gentleman for expedient purposes would help us, and that's bad. But blacks who are elected to serve us that won't is good. Niggas are crazy. They make me sick.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't make Roger Stone a John Brown type of cat, but it's like he was doing some honorable things to try to help
he was, and he.
Black folks along.
Let me tell you something. If I wasn't here in Baltimore, I sat down. Roger Stone is crazy. You can sit down and talk to him, and if he thinks something's legit, he'll help. Do you know what he started to do? And then this stuff just went. I know he had something to do with it. We began to talk about black people being killed by fluoride and lead in the water. Stone and I had collected. I'd just been here in Baltimore. It's been harder to get people to help. Reba, Reba Hawkins, 2020. I'm here in Baltimore trying to help this sister replace Elijah Cummings and keep his whole ass widow and this other little silly broad, Kim Kasich, from getting in the seat because they're not going to serve black people. Now, so I've been here. We were going to do a book to expose it. It's a deliberate policy of black people to be mass poisoned by lead and fluoride and base metals in the water supply. Mm-hmm. And he was down for it. When I tell you Elijah Cummings turned his back on me when I approached him, and John Lewis turned their back on me, why wouldn't I like the white man that listened? Mm-hmm. And I don't give two flying damns about who black doesn't like that. Mm-hmm. Our people shouldn't be poisoned. And here in Baltimore, I just had a girl tell me she can't get any help, and she's got 9% lead poisoning. That's not enough money to reach the criterion to get help. How many people walking around here with this blood poisoning all over the country? And you know what? I sent 4 or 5 articles to this white man that folks dismiss. And he says, man, this is awful. I didn't know. Let's do something. And when I go to punk-ass John Lewis, who's in the closet, selfish, sellout, bald-headed, cabbage patch-looking coon, they turn their back on me, and they turn their back on us. They know all about it. I was sitting with this brother here, Delon, that was a member of the D.C. City Council, who told us that lead is a hush issue, which means they let our people be poisoned in D.C. And just like they get them, they're poisoned in Newark, they're poisoned in Chicago, they're poisoned in Memphis, they're poisoned in Jackson, they're poisoned in Jacksonville, Atlanta, Charlotte, everywhere our people are, they're being poisoned. And you know what? Someone who still, if they beat this, they get pardoned by Trump, we're going to do this lead. Okay, that's the kind of person he is. He can be a cause person. I would to God roll over Martin or the one who bald-headed one whose white wife left him. Come on, help me. Van Jones, Scam Jones, or Don Lemon with his white boy playing hoppy horse with him, that they would take up a cause for black people. Stop all this posturing that you're our leaders and you don't do a damn thing for us. For just the damn good of it, huh?
Well, you know what?
So,
Go ahead, Phil.
It just irritates me. We've got enough money as a people to solve all of our problems, and there's a huge group of greedy, selfish, narcissistic, eugenics mad coons who don't care about the rest of us dying. And they sit there with the ability to make a difference and won't. And most of our people, forgive me, are so dumbed down, stupid, bombed out, based out, weed-headed, listen to all the wrong music, eating all the wrong food, don't see that we're being betrayed from within. Now, we got some major insider enemies that allow this stuff to go on every day, like Elijah Cummings, who didn't go fast enough for me.
Well, I was thinking about Roger Stone when you're saying all this stuff about how you're trying to help quote-unquote black people. I'm thinking that he also was a partner in business with Lee Atwater, who is the father of the Southern Strategy, so to speak.
No, yeah, he did. And you know what he told me? Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I didn't say he wasn't surrounded. Remember I said you're in an Republican environment, you're going to be surrounded by racist-ass people that are awful. Okay? That's a fact. But it's the same thing if you're in the Democratic Party. They just say Planned Parenthood, or they just say Emily's List, or they just say Hope 6. They do it one way, one group does another. You always see me say the only people that love us is us and God that made us. Yeah, but I was going to say, too, with Lee Atwater, it's complex. I value doing No, he didn't. No. I talked to, Lee Atwater died a racist, and Roger Stone will tell you that he was faking.
Okay, but what I'm going to say about Lee Atwater, though, he's a child of a son of the South, but he also, he did appreciate, he had a barbecue joint. He did do a blues album with B.B. King. He was a guitarist, too.
Yeah,
so I'm saying,
but B.B. King,
is complex.
They're complex. But Lee Atwater died a racist.
You know, he was on the board of Howard University too, right? You remember when he was on the board of Howard University? And the students kicked him out. The students kicked him out, which they should have. If Lee Atwater is on a rotisserie in hell, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay? It's I'm not asking people to love anybody but themselves and God, okay? Yes, sir.
But I'm saying be pragmatic and intelligent and strategic. If you met someone from another community that would help you get something, I'm not going to sit up and calorie count and cherry pick all their friends or faults. Because I could tell you, I'm in one of those families. I've told this to you before, where certain ones don't like people because they're dark skinned and they hate black folk more than the cops do. It takes all types. Take all types of white folks, and maybe 99.9% of them either don't care or don't like. But if you got 0.1% one that will do something, damn it, take the help.
No,
I wish we didn't need anybody but us. But if you, like I said, I went to John Lewis and we went to all these people to talk, and Maxine Waters, and they turned us away. Go to the white man, and he says yes. And I know where you say, God, they're white. What's on your damn money? What, the Harlem Globetrotters is a dead white man.
Who own slaves, some of them own slaves.
Yeah, and rape
black
slaves.
mistresses. Yeah. Well, you know, Dr. Shortman.
And I'm not glorifying a system. I'm saying, what do I do? Tomorrow it's not going to suddenly change. And can you imagine if black folks, if the way that they have trash collected in Baltimore, can you imagine if black folks took over the Park Service? Can you imagine? There'd be garbage on top of Mount Rushmore. It's don't worry, the wind's going to blow it away. The way some of our people are negligent towards one another. It's outrageous.
It is, but also we're not good stewards and students of history, and especially political history, because you had 100 years ago where Marcus Garvey did collaborate with the Klan, work with the Klan, or the Nation of Islam did work with the Klan, securing land in Georgia. With the Klan,
and American Nazi Party, when he met with the Klan, the Coon leadership, the Boule, says we can't have this. How dare him do this?
Okay.
When he met with them, the Boule said, stop him. How dare him do that? Because if he could deliver something where the Klan laid off of black folks, then the Boule wouldn't be able to pretend that their leader's delivering us something. And they haven't delivered us anything since they deported Garvey.
And also the Nation of Islam, they let the American Nazi Party attend Savior or Founders Day. And
look, let me tell you something. Bunker Hunt gave money, a big racist gave money to the Klan and the Nazis. I'm sorry, and to the Nation of Islam.
Yeah,
Bunker Hunt did.
This is the father of Lamar Hunt, the founder of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the father of Lamar Hunt, who founded the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
So these people and Elijah Muhammad and them got stuff from Mr. Hunt, and they spent. And to me, the day that we back each other and invest our real money in one another, we won't have to go to people like that, okay?
Right. And they
imagine that.
Playing in Georgia.
Folk tell me Elijah Cummings is a civil rights hero. I go to him about lead poisoning people here, and they basically blow us off. I was talking to a man today who just called me, and I'm not going to take his call, and he said he was talking to Elijah Cummings about reparations, and he wasn't interested in reparations. Civil rights hero. Oh, God, kiss my ass. None of these people care about us. We've got to love us. That's what you hear me say. And I love when people say, you trying to have a good time. You said we have to be Republicans and them. Have you ever heard me say which party you had to be in? But I would say if you get a good person,
at any point in your life.
You get a good person like Reba Harkins running, back her. Don't believe in the party. Believe in God and believe in the righteous people that you know. And it won't be most of us. Most black folks are dead to us. Most black folks can't get beyond the next blunt, the next orgasm, or the next porn magazine with white women in it. They don't even want to see sisters over. They too bootylicious for me.
Well, let me ask you this, Dr. Short. I'm seeing that if Elijah Cummings' widow is elected to his spot, and will she end up like Captain Q too? I mean, she's under investigation for a nonprofit situation.
You know that song by Roberta Martin. God specializes. God specializes. I hope God specializes. She's crooked. And did you hear about her? She claimed she got a double mastectomy Friday last week.
Okay.
And she's taking pictures, profile pictures with her bonnet on in her hospital bed. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, but my mother's a breast cancer survivor. I just can't imagine having 2 breasts cut off and want someone to take my picture right after it.
Did she have like some chicken breasts in front, like some Popeye's chicken in front too?
No, I'm talking about her. No.
I know you're talking
She's talking about her real breast being cut off. And I'm thinking, and she's back at work already? I wouldn't advise it if it were true. I'd take a week off. I mean, you're rich anyway. You're a gold digger. You dug more gold than the gold rush, right? I mean, you got more gold than the reef in South Africa. You don't have to go back to work. What is she trying to prove? She's trying to hog the news cycle. She's guilty. That money hasn't been accounted for, and it's in the millions. If they can go after John Conyers for $27,000, and they can't take a second look at this lady for $15 million, that shows you that she's in service of people who hate our guts. See, and by the way, I have this on high account. While he was alive, you know, I don't know if you ever saw that movie. There's a movie that Gene Wilder and Donald Sutherland were in, where they were 2 twins separated at birth during the French Revolution. Okay. And the Queen of France was just grabbing everybody's ding-along, just trying to grab them. I mean, they made that Marie Antoinette where she was trying to jump everybody's bones. Every time someone came by, she was jumping on them. Well, somebody else is like that. I mean, dude walk a couple of feet, or I don't know, roll his walk a couple, because, you know, he had diabetes, so he probably had ED. And I guess, you know.
Hello?
Yeah. You heard what I said.
Noise. There's some beeping noise going, like some wire trans. It's weird.
Well, no, they don't like. When I'm just gonna tell you point blank, brother, that dude's wife was not trying to be faithful to him while he was alive.
Okay, Elijah Cummings, right?
Yeah. So imagine what will happen. Now that's the rumor. It's been reported over and over and over to me that she had wandering eyes, and he probably had wandering eyes too. Okay. The other thing.
So is that the chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know your phone. Were you trying to? When you were saying the other thing after you said that, the phone went dead.
Okay. Well. Well, you know how that is.
I already know. Yes, sir. So we got you. So you were talking about Elijah Cummings' widow, and you said the other thing. Then it just went silent, radio silent.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I was saying was that allegedly, and I could be wrong, but it was reported in the newspaper. Says his wife that he had a rare cancer, like a thymic carcinoma. And I went and I researched what a thymic carcinoma was, and it's often found with people who have HIV/AIDS. I didn't say it is HIV/AIDS.
but it is found commonly with people who have HIV/AIDS. Are you feeling me? There's still all this secrecy about what dude died from and why he had something for 25 years, but it did not take him down. Are you understanding me?
Yes, sir.
Now, can I share something with you that a doctor told me?
Yes, sir.
He works at the University of Maryland at Baltimore, and his expertise is dealing with geriatric AIDS. That the retroviral drugs, the drugs that prevent or fight against the HIV virus, cause the cells in the body to change that become carcinogenic. And he mentioned rare cancers are a common trait for people who've used AIDS medications over a long period of time.
Wow.
Okay. I didn't say it. I didn't say anybody had AIDS, but a lot of these things sure line up. Right? Now,
wow.
And the thymic carcinoma has a similar trait with AIDS because it causes a depletion or a reduced number of the creation of T cells. That used to be called AIDS. Used to be. Remember when it said T cells, right? Well, I'm not saying it's AIDS, but there was a shortage of T cells being produced. And when you tell me dude had cancer, but he looked bloated, like he was being given steroids, you don't give steroids for cancer. You give steroids to boost immunity. Well, if you have a cancer that causes a fall in immunity, right? It's because it's a rare cancer. But typical cancer, you don't necessarily give steroids. Are you hearing me?
I'm listening.
And a lot of people live in D.C. I keep telling these people, the Congressional Black Circus, these folk get to town and they just, Woody Woodpecker. I'm telling you, these folks act like an extension cord. Wherever you can plug it in, it's going to get a light. So, we got to say that. So, back to this. Roger Stone, that jury, I think they had 120 people. I think they only had 4 black men in a city where at least half of the men are black. 120 people and had almost no black men in the jury pool. And on the jury, the final jury had 8 white women, 4 black women. I'm sorry, wait a minute. No, let me do this. They had 2 alternates, so there are 14 people. One was Latina and one was Indian. There were 3 white men, that's 5. And then there were 4 black women and another 5 white women. And a lot of those folks were government employees or people from the intelligence community or lawyers. And a bunch of them look like the kind of feminists that would like to do a Benihana on your dick and serve it to you. Okay, I'm just telling you how it looked. And there was one white dude who looked like Darren from Bewitched. He was all he was doing was gritting on the Stone family the whole time. And somebody needs to get him some big razors because he never shaved. That was nasty. There was a black woman in there with the Buddha hairdo, with the big hula hoop earrings on. There were 2 black women that initially, I think, didn't want to say he was guilty, but basically they got him on all 7 counts. And y'all need to know something. Roger Stone didn't just help Trump win. Roger Stone exposed Jeffrey Epstein for being a world-class pedophile. They're very, very, very important, rich, powerful baby rapists who hate Roger Stone for exposing their game. Okay?
Don't mess with the pedos, honey. They powerful, and they be packing. And so if he goes to jail, he won't make it a week. They'll kill him. Okay?
Okay. Well, I was thinking about, too, because, November 22nd marks the 56th anniversary of the JFK assassination.
Sure it is.
And I know he wrote a book. He was a major researcher. He wrote a book about how LBJ and just some of the Democrats were involved in the killing of JFK. So is that payback for that as well, too?
Yeah, they hate him. They go get him. I don't want to see them kill him. He's been a good person, to me at least. And you know what? I'll take a bedside conversion white person that will be helpful to black people over a committed Republican or Democrat any day. Okay? I'm 54 years old, and the man that worked on my teeth 50 years ago was the leader of mass resistance in Northern Virginia. Mm-hmm. You understand what I just said to you, right?
Yes, sir.
So the person that said blacks can't go to school with whites, stop it. And this man, I'm just telling you real stories because it happens. This man started going blind, and he went completely blind, and somebody took him to a black church, and the black lady told him, bring that racist ass white man up here. I need to pray with him. and she says, do you know why you're going blind? He says, no. Says, well, you know what? God's blinded you because you hate black people so much. You're a racist. You're a monster. All you've done is mess over black people. And she says, and God's about to kill you.
Wow.
But I'm going to pray for you. And when you get your vision back, if you ever do anything to black people, God will kill you next time. They prayed for him. He got his vision back.
Wow.
That dude, I never paid to see a dentist for the first 30 years of my life.
Mm.
He gave his dental practice to a black man from Mississippi. I'm talking about a multi-million-dollar business practice.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't help him. And he wouldn't do any work on anyone that wouldn't let the black guy work on their teeth. I don't want you anymore. Wow. They adopted black kids. They did everything. They would visit our church in the ghetto, give you money and stuff. So I've seen white folk, however rare it is, see the light. What distresses me as we black folks who suffer this every day that are fully aware of all of what's going on, we don't call it the few that can. How could your program get far less money? How could Umar Johnson, segueing to an example of my problem, how could Umar Johnson get hundreds of thousands to, and I don't know if they get you working for Amazon or UPS. I don't know, maybe you're selling weed, but you're scuffling to do good work, and hustlers, people that are delinquent in child support payment. And let me put this out here since I want to infuriate some people. Call my ass a coon. What about this alleged white woman you have a baby with that gets all the money and the black kids starve? You know exactly who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Why does a white woman get the money? I thought you liked black women. I thought you were into queens. And you want them on $20 bills, but what difference does it make if all the $20 bills for the black one on go to the white woman that really matters? Okay. I haven't called a name, but the guilty party knows who they are. May they panhandle in vain. Ashes to ashes, liar, grifter, pimp, exploiter, phony. And my attorney wouldn't represent your ass because your degrees aren't real. And so the next time you call me by my nickname, just remember there are about 4 sets of letters that come behind mine that are real. Now, that felt good. Now,
okay.
Whoever knows that the shit's real because the dead is real. And back before, and why not claim being in the Nation of Islam if that's where you came from? Why are you pulling, what's that fool's name up in Minnesota that's no good? Come on, help me.
Keith
Ellison.
Okay.
There are a bunch of people that have been in the nation, and they've become blasphemers, backsliders. Tell the truth. Tell folks that you were actually in the nation.
And why weren't you in Muslim school instead of that predominantly white military school? Anyway,
wow.
So much for me being a coon, an Obama supporter. Like I said, if I was an Obama supporter, if he had lemonade, check it before you drink it, because you know what I did, right? Now, moving right along. What else can we talk about today? And definitely, and Cash App, a brother here. We got to talk about this Reba Hawkins. This sister here, we need to enhance her online presence. But if you check her out on Afro Synergy, she's like a double Dutch chocolate Winnie Mandela with the flamethrower. And I'm not talking about Burger King. And she's rough. She's tough. Both parties are afraid of her. And they better treat her right, or she may run independent. You understand what I'm saying? She's not scared. So she's got a business and all that, and she's working on another business. I mean, the broad is good. We just have to help her with the campaign. Now, I'll tell you something about Memphis. I gotta say Memphis. Oh, man. I don't know how they made that a 4-syllable word. We always say man, but y'all say man. Okay. You can actually get people to do stuff still in Memphis. It's not so easy in Baltimore. Everybody got something to do. But anyway, what was I going to say to you? Oh, we got to talk about Haiti for a minute. There's still mass murdering black folk in Haiti.
Okay.
And not a peep from the CBC. Not a peep from anybody. Not a peep from nobody. Even the little Haitians here, they're so afraid to go back home, they ain't doing nothing. I just see something. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and maybe you'll end up coming to be more at some point in the very near future. Okay. My brother, if we get the power up in here, in fact, we're working with ADOS a little bit. I mean, I won't let someone's bad looks in private life keep me from supporting reparations.
Okay.
That felt good. Now, you want to laugh. You want to laugh.
I mean, but she never, Yvette, to be fair to her, she never brought up her sexual preferences in her ADOS.
I didn't say anything about that. You did.
Okay.
You just
okay, y'all,
no.
it was a setup. Okay, I'm just saying, I just think it's weird.
No.
My thing is, it's a weird time.
It's a time for us. See, to me, if you're going to lead us, be celibate or be in a relationship that lifts up our people. You can't lead us swirling. You can't lead us not standing. So I would not ask for you to see me as any kind of leader, okay, and do something that isn't community building. So if, in fact, I was with a white woman, stranger things have happened in my family. Not that I'm running after that. I would tell you, oh, sorry, brothers, just had to come to court. I said, plaintiff, please step in, state your name. I said, Dr. Short. And the court of black people charges you with swirling. How do you plead? Guilty, sir. Would you state your reason? Well, I didn't know it was loaded like that. Right. Anyway, I would come in and tell y'all straight, this is what I am. This is what I'm doing. My commitment to my people is to them first, and the person that I'm with is for us, right? I'm just telling you, okay? I wouldn't hide it, and I wouldn't try to out-militant someone to try to offset people. Because, see, I've seen people hiding. And, see, who you get down with does say something about you. It does. Not always negative, but it says something about you. Okay? What is it? I'm a freak yogurt. Messing with kids says something about him. Okay?
Okay.
It does. It says something about dude. And we can't pretend that when they say, oh, the private doesn't influence the public, that's a damn lie. Whenever I meet anyone like that, that's usually a black person with no morality. It is. Because if what you do privately doesn't matter, then the drag queen story hours are cool. And people should read stories to kids, right? And they should teach kids to do all this stuff if it doesn't matter, right? Wow. And so whoever says that is weakening us. Now, what did I see today? And there's someone who got mad. I was on Darren Muhammad's show, and they complained about me making a statement about sexuality. And I'm talking about it not because I'm obsessed. It's on CNN today. I'll repeat it. The leading people who are dying from anal cancer are black young men and white women. Now, you've heard me talk about this. This is coming. This is coming. There's going to be an epidemic. Folk will be dying. You can't do that. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not made for that, right? There will be some kind of repercussion, right? Haven't you heard me say that?
Yeah, I heard
okay.
Be consistent.
And have you ever heard me say, I hate the people that want them to die and they're no good? Nope. I simply said, you're being set up. You're being set up. They're trying to get you to do unhealthy, unsafe things, and these cancers are super aggressive. And let me emphasize why they published the story in CNN today. And the order of who they cared about that died, they said young white women and young black men. Meaning if it were just black men dying from the cancer, it wouldn't have been a story. They published the story to protect white women from anal cancer, from having anal sex, from HPV. Meaning that they don't mind watching us die. Those who just have to do this, and it's the new vagina, and you just don't understand, and you didn't see moonlight, and I didn't grow up with the father, and I'm lonely, and this has been good to me, and my weave is just as good as Beyonce, whatever, all the stuff we hear, right? And don't judge me, and there are 218 different gender expressions, and I'm a woman on whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. But your rear end is a man's rear end, and if you're a woman, it's a woman's rear end, and neither one of them are vaginas. Although the person with the vagina needs to tell that person, do a detour and just go up a few inches. I mean, right? I don't know if I told you the joke. What did the asshole say to the penis? Wrong house. It's the house with the hedges up the road, right? We'll never get around this. Whether I get some or don't get some, women and only women have the birth canal. Women, only women, have the proper biological anatomical place for that blunt force instrument that you have called a penis. And if you put it in another place, you are causing damage at some point. And I know everybody, the British have this thing where they're just pushing, oh, I just love booty and tearing booty and I got a hole too, sure. So does a sewer have a hole? Do you hump on those? We're going to see a large number of young, and in fact, a bunch of them are going to be prominent people, educated people, arrogant people. You know, the ones that snap, and do all this kind of stuff. We're going to see a whole generation of gifted, outspoken, non-gender conforming black men in particular die young. And no one warned them because people wanted them to die. And in our community, people were too weak or too perverse or too conflicted because they did it too, to warn people of the danger. When CNN tells you it's a problem, it's already late. and they were only talking about the anal. I've warned again, there will be many people, because after they put it up someone's rear end, they put it in their mouth. There's going to be that same thing that caused cancer in your behind will cause it in your throat. So, do I care who doesn't like me trying to warn people? No. Same way I don't care what people think if I'm friends to Roger Stone. And I'm friends to anyone I don't want to see get cancer. Does this sound like I hate people based on how they get down, brother? Because, you know, as a believer, it says that the carnal mind is at enmity with God. People are so wicked and so out of touch with God. They would hear a warning, don't be destroyed, as hate speech. You sick out of your brain if you think I hate you. And by the way, the folks in your community who you play bumper cars with, they're not trying to tell you about it. The local city group, rainbow color in the church, they're not telling people about the plagues are coming. They have typhoid and bubonic plague and all these things in California, and it's spreading. Beware, black men and black women. You cannot sleep with everyone you want. You can't have every hole. You can't have every pole. Every foot long shouldn't go in your throat. This isn't a hate commentary. This is a person who watched AIDS kill maybe over 100 associates and friends and family. I've seen it. And so there's the quiet before the storm. And if this economy were to crash tomorrow, all the people who are infected who think that they'd be able to get subsidized medication and care will be like Richard Wright's book, The Outsider. Remember, the man wanted him to marry his daughter when he was selling insurance, but she had syphilis, and he was hoping he'd have mercy. His daughter had only done it one time, and she wasn't a bad person, and maybe, right? And the guy's trying to pawn off his infected daughter. We black folks who aren't producing doctors, hospitals, or clinics or ways to treat ourselves outside of a few alternative medicine persons and so forth, we are not prepared for the kinds of preventable, contagious STDs and other things that are both man-made as well as mutated from human misbehavior. I don't care if the Daily Mirror in England accuses me of being a racist or a bigot. It doesn't matter much to me, because as I warned friends and family in the 80s about a disease for which there was no name, and people did not listen, many of the people I warned are dead. In fact, the first 3 people are all dead. And I think I told you they all died within a year of each other. So I have no fear. Now, impeachment. They don't have a case. And since I saw about STDs, you know that guy Schiff? He should be called Schiffless, the Intelligence Committee chair.
Okay.
That dude should be collecting money for HRC. He's as sweet as a honeycomb. And I think the dude that's the military guy, they're a bunch of gay folk trying to take Trump down. That's what this is. This is a gay hit. Trump didn't pass the Equality Act. They miss Obama. And they want to get, and see, Pence they don't mind. If you saw those college pictures of Pence, very intriguing. I don't know, it looked like he had lipstick on his chest, nipples, whatever, but it's not. It's just maybe the picture. This whole impeachment thing is about sexuality. It has nothing to do with the president talking to someone in another country. And so we're in a bad state in the country where if you tell me the truth or you don't like everything I like doing, right, Like they've made bestiality legal in Canada. You can have sex with cows, and I can't wait until you hear about the first person that dies from having sex with a moose. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine a person get one of those little half ladders that goes about 3 feet, and someone tries to get off on the moose turns around and kills them? And park authorities will have to determine whether they're going to put the moose to sleep or turn it out to a wild pasture where it will not be associated with human beings. Let's talk to our right. This is I don't want this stuff. Okay, I'm against it. The Bible teaches against it. Leviticus 18 and 19. And I forgot to tell you. I had to pat my fellowship, Brother Delon, and I can't say one sister. She has a government job. My mom, Bishop Alfonso Brooks, Bishop of Way of the Cross of Church of Christ International, who's my great uncle. My cousin, Henry Chauncey Lancaster, senior pastor of the Mother Church of the Way of the Cross of Church of Christ International, Saints of God from Bible Way Church and from Way of the Cross Church, and of course, the great Right Reverend Bishop Ronald Demery of Bible Way Church in Washington, D.C. By the way, that's the church that helped finance the case for my cousin Emmett Till back in the 50s. How about that? Mamie Till did a fundraising tour across America. It was paid for by my father's bishop, Bishop Smallwood E. Williams, founder of the Bible Way Church. And they gave a lot of money to the civil rights movement. In fact, Bishop Smallwood Williams, when Bilbo, that man in Mississippi, died, he gave a eulogy condemning him to hell over his broadcast to D.C.
The Senator Bilbo. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, whenever some of the Southern senators, he would give eulogy and condemn them to hell over his broadcast.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would think about Roger Stone, like all the stuff you talk about. Also, Roger Stone, he worked for and was a big fan. He got a tattoo of Richard Nixon, who declared a war on black people with the war on drugs. This has been proven. Yeah. So it's complex.
Yes, he did. And I didn't say that Roger Stone was a liberator. I've been very, very clear. He came out against the war on drugs in 2002. Okay. But what happens is, and he told all the other Republicans they were wrong. This was racist. It took too long, and I'm not happy it ever happened. But let us look at it. Nixon did start the war on drugs. Okay. But then again, Nixon didn't. Johnson had the Omnibus Crime Bill of 1967 or 68.
Okay.
Nixon only continued what Johnson did. And then who took it to another level? Ronald Reagan, who was a Republican. And then who took it to another level? George Bush, right? Bill Clinton. But Bill Clinton and them were worse than all the people before. And Maxine Waters and John Lewis and the Congressional Black Caucus and Charles Rangel supported it. Lacey, Clay, all of these people supported this thing.
Okay.
So Roger Stone wasn't in government for that. So these were all the black people, Kwesi and Fume, or as we say in Baltimore, you crazy, you fool me. The CBC supported this thing. The CBC supported the militarization of the police. The CBC was silent when Obama did this Blue Lives Matter law. These are all being done oftentimes with the support of black Democrats. In the case of Obama, with a black Democrat signing it into law with the stroke of a pen. So if I could just get people, and I say this on my show, hate both parties equally, we would be all right. I don't want you to, I keep saying to people, I don't want you to like anybody but your own group. Chinese are for Chinese. Ties are for ties. black folk are for Democrats. I don't get it. Democrats inclusive of everybody. Why can't we be for ourselves? And how is what I just said to you cooning? To say love self, protect self, defend self, invest in self, love self, respect self. To me, that sounds like black militancy. But in the age where Negroes are bought and sold by Planned Parenthood, by Emily's List, by George Soros and the other people that are pushing for transhuman, transracial, transfemale, all this foolishness, black people who say we're a people, we deserve reparations, and God made man and woman, we're the monsters. We're in bad shape when we can't deal with the fact that there's just male and female. We're in bad shape if you say love and respect self is wrong. How can you have Malcolm X's post on your wall or Dr. King's post on your wall or any black figure like Rosa Parks on your wall and misconstrue what I'm saying as negative? And the only people who are against what I'm saying, it gets back to it, are funded, financed people who have a eugenics and sexuality agenda that is at odds with the survival of black people. And it's interesting. The people who hate black people's guts are the lovers of black people, and the black people that love black folks are the enemy. The Bible says that a person is wicked when they make evil good and good evil. And we got a lot of wicked people in our community that would make a person that wants an academy for just boys or just girls, or they want to homeschool because they don't want their kids to learn how to put lubrication in their behind when they're 4 years old, that's right. Some kind of bigotry. Bigotry against who? The person wants to slide something up there when they're 4? We're in a very sick state. What, I got to argue with someone about a baby's booty getting impaled? And I'm a racist? I want to ask someone, did you want your booty impaled when you were 4 years old? Someone can make up the time. We'll get someone, just stand right here. I'll find someone to help you out. I mean, I won't watch.
Well, you know what the thing about it is, people live in this social media age, and we think celebrities are supposed to be civil rights leaders and liberators, but they're not.
They are civil rights leaders. They are civil rights leaders, but civil rights has been hijacked by LGBTQ.
Who happen to be celebrities.
Sodomite or homosexual or LGBTQ rights is civil rights. They've taken it. It's been handed over to them. Someone from Memphis that was closet gay did it by the name of Reverend Benjamin Hooks. Since you want to talk about your Memphis, man,
I got you.
I clap back at you. Benjamin Hooks, as much as I like what he did with the FCC, Benjamin Hooks made the gay agenda part of the black agenda back in 1979, 40 years ago. The NAACP, I know a woman right now who's destroyed because the NAACP supports the legalization of prostitution, pimping, and brothel owning, which will lead to pedophilia. And by the way, the
headquarters where?
Baltimore.
All right, there. Touche.
Oh no!
You know NAACP at one point too. He was the president of NAACP at one point.
He was the president. He had to step down under questionable circumstances, and the NAACP would not endorse him. And then Fumi is running for Congress, and the NAACP hasn't endorsed him. Now, let me just say this about you, Fumi. Dude, why were you trying to make the NAACP a trick pad for you and your crooked-ass son? I mean, how many times have you had your foreskin snagged in your zipper in the Capitol down in D.C. for you to carry this garbage all the way up there? You talk all that mess about my silly, confused cousin, Ben Chavis, and you were a bigger hole than him. Ben Chavis is only one woman who was in the hot tub. $300,000 isn't that much money. Oh my gosh, and Fumi was in there. Dude, I heard dude almost had like a schedule book for when women had to come in and preserve their jobs. If you were in the mailroom after 2 years, you hadn't given the Fume none. If you want to get out of the mailroom, you need to go up to the suite.
Oh my God.
He smells kind of nice.
What about the current leadership, like Derek Johnson, who's from Mississippi via Detroit? I met Derek Johnson several times. What do you think about him?
I'm about to say something that's really cold.
Okay.
When they start letting people dark skin run something that was run by light skinned people for 100 years, it's going down. Now it is. It's going down. I'm not saying he's bad, but the NAACP, what are they about? The NAACP supported the Gay Equality Act that made gay and black interchangeable. So he can't do anything for me, nor can that dude with the Lido pizza complexion. You know who I'm talking about. Help me out. Urban Greed, Urban League.
I know you're talking about,
Marielle. Yeah. Oh my God. He got that petri dish mold complexion. Oh God. They all supported the Gay Equality Act. I think we went through that. The entire civil rights movement supports blacks being subordinated to the sexuality agenda yes, and Byron Rustin was a pedophile molester and CIA asset.
Yeah, I believe it.
No, don't believe it.
Quaker. Was he a Quaker too?
He
a Quaker like Richard Nixon?
No, he was probably quaking when he was laid down. Okay, so.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
So I'm just saying, and look, there is no civil rights movement anymore. Black folks need to stop using the term civil rights and start saying we want freedom, black freedom or African, indigenous, American freedom. Say what you really mean.
Okay.
If you go into a whorehouse and you start talking about what's this thing called? A fillet of fish. People are going to think you want to go to McDonald's. You need to go in there and talk about booty or boobs. I mean, if you want a whorehouse, you start talking about, a tuna melt. And people look around, huh? Well, there's a store down the street. I said, well, no, I want an orgy with 2 women. Oh, why didn't you say so? Hey, girls, come down, there's a customer. Come on, make it quick, right? You have to say what you mean. Black people are cowardly. That we have a problem of being cowards. We don't say what we mean. We want freedom for us. We want our checks. We want our SHIT, exclamation point, NOW, now. Instead, we say, well, all the minorities and people of color. You know what? What color are Martians?
Probably green, right?
And but so they would be in our movement too. And the Martian, I don't identify with black people. They don't identify with us. Those green Martians over there, they don't understand our struggle. We've been here longer. Oh my God. Damn everybody else. In fact, the fewer black people there are, the easier it will be to achieve what we need. All the folks that don't want to stand together, kick them out. Come on now. Now you have a production company at some point. You know how you go on a film thing, and if you have too many people, you can't make your film. But if you have a tight crew, you can get the stuff done better than if you had too many people.
Yeah.
That's how black people are. We have too many folks we're trying to help. So you want to swirl and be over there and get gonorrhea or have kids that are confused with multicolored eyes and so forth, and your woman don't know how to do their hair. Go on. Be happy. Bye.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because I want to ask you about a so-called leader, or the Civil Rights Act of 1866, the Supreme Court case for Comcast and Byron A.L.L, and how Mr. Allen goes around saying that his business is 100% black-owned when his wife is white and she's a partner in his business.
Well, remember I said but his genitalia is the only thing 100% black-owned, and his wife owns that. Now, he's broke. If he were rich, he would be on one of those Forbes 500 lists by now, or at least 600, be below the bottom. I would just quote an unstated African-American political leader, and they expressed, could be of either gender, that they had friends beg Byron Allen for over 25 years to please do something, help black people, give an internship, reach out, love them, and he stalwartly refused to have anything to do with anything remotely black. Complains like a coon, Johnny come lately like a coon, running a scam like a coon. Now, I do enjoy him bashing Barack Obama. I mean, that is, if he has any redeeming grace, he doesn't like Obama. But he had to have been a chump to think after Obama had dogged everybody that he's going to like him. Why? Because you're on Real People. You're like the most boring, unfunny black comedian of all times, okay? I mean, really. I mean, who remembers going to see Byron Allen do a comedy club? I don't. Richard Pryor, I mean, shoot, you couldn't tie his shoes when he's passed out on coke. Okay, so please, Byron, you're being used by a group of Zionists that want to grab all the media. The real issue has nothing to do with 1866. It's already on the books. There's civil rights stuff that's been enforced. In fact, let me tell you something. You know why I don't like coons? Coons just make me feel violent. I'm going to give you an example of something on the books that makes me dislike black people. It's called the Enforcement Act of 1870-1871, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act. You may know about it because you're from Tennessee, and y'all got a big-ass memorial to the person that was killing all the black people. Now, y'all need to knock that down, or at least throw some
we took it down, Dr. Short. It's in storage, but we still got the 2,500 state, 2,500 acre state park.
No, okay. No, the park needs to close, too. Y'all should make, in fact, you know how you do that? If all you have to do is have a whole bunch of interracial couples start having family reunion there, they close the park. That's how I take it. A whole bunch of people have all the swirling, have a swirl, they can close the park, man. I mean, turn it into a golf course.
And they got his bust in the Capitol, though. They still got his bust in the state Capitol.
Well, all someone has to do is pour some acid on it. It'll crack. But anyway, no, I'm not going to say that. Now, look. The Enforcement Act of 1870-1871, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act, allowed the government to go after racist police and anybody else who mistreated black people. That's the federal law of the land, meaning that bitch here, Mosby, the one that looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost with the weave. Yeah, remember her, the one that let the cops go that killed my cousin Freddie Gray here? She does look like Casper.
Right?
Yeah, she looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost went to Florida and put a weave on.
Okay.
She could have pulled that out and busted all those officers. Now, do you know who got the Ku Klux Klan Act, the Enforcement Act of 1870-1871 for their case?
The Republicans, right? Republicans.
No, the Republicans passed it, yes. That white woman that got killed in Charlottesville, whose name is escaping me. Heather Heyer. Heather Heyer, all those people, that boy that ran over her, and all the Nazis and racists that they've been rounding up, they continue to round up. All over the country, seize their computers and everything. That's based on the Enforcement Act of 1870.
Wow. Okay.
How come no nigger lawyers use this to round up cops and racists that bother black people? Because most Negro lawyers and all, they're bitches, they're chumps, they're cowards. They're afraid to demand that the laws that are already on the damn books be enforced to protect black people. That goes for the NAACP and all of them. Al Sharpton and even Crump, the one that looks like Curious George, Crump. He does look like Curious George. With the suit on.
Okay.
The dude looks like Curious George. He does. And he's never won a case.
Oh my God.
He's un-Perry Mason.
But there has not
so
been...
the law is right there. That brings the feds, the FBI, all of them. People don't want to do it because if you lock up these white cops, folks are going to get mad. Well, folks are mad you exist, Negro. You're not white.
You got to be a near perfect person of color to get justice, according to Ben Crump.
Actually, there was a near-perfect person. Hold. We had a near-perfect person of color named Jesus. They killed his ass, too.
Well, there you go.
So I don't want to hear that. I want justice for imperfect people. For folks like me who leak a little bit of pee because they're older when they use the restroom and you have to, change straws. I need justice just like the person who doesn't spring a leak that's younger.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because this Rodney Reed thing is fascinating to me. I don't know what your take is on it because people it's like a backlash now because of his past. Even though he's probably framed up on this charge that's going to get him in the death house right now. But what's your take on the Rodney Reed thing?
I jump down, turn around, I jump just so every time I will about I jump Jim Crow, okay? Mm-hmm. If his ass didn't get shaked and baked over some BS, I'm happy for the brother. We got a lot of murderers in Planned Parenthood. We got murderers at Monsanto, murderers on Wall Street, murderers in government offices. We got murderers that have E. coli, doo-doo bacteria in the meat people eat. Every so many days, someone's sick and drops dead. There are a lot of people that have killed folks that are walking around free. So why are they so obsessed with killing this one particular person? Amber Geiger, that little slut that killed the dude down in Texas, her partner murdered a black person. We got cops that kill, preachers that kill, nurses and doctors that kill. To me, these folks are still, this is sort of like slow motion lynching. It used to be that they could just hang your ass and enjoy, have a little hamburger or, well, they wouldn't do s'mores because they turned black. They may not sit well with their stomach. But now you hold a person and then eventually the people get to see the lynching 20 years later. It's bullshit. If he did it and they can really prove it, I don't mind the death penalty. I just want it to kill proven killers.
Well, you know what the thing with Reed though. Now they saying that the lady's fiance might have did it, who was a cop. You know, and two cops investigated the situation, and they ended up dead in crazy ways. One was so-called suicided.
Okay, all right. Now let's go all the way back and talk about this real fast. Okay. It goes back to a certain person that black people think is their Lord and Savior, named Barack Obama. When he refused to let the good white man that proved that the police departments had been infiltrated by Nazis and the Klan 10 years ago, they knew that this would happen. So for all the little coons listening to this that like Obama, that think you're for Reed, your support for Obama's bullshit is why so many black folks are being destroyed. So I don't mind the white people that want to see a black person dead. When have they not wanted to see a black person dead? It's the black folks who support a black person that want to see black people dead because they were told he was their friend. That's like me telling you the arsonist that burnt the house with your mama in it is a humanitarian and you believe me. And there's no evidence for you to believe. Why do we believe in these folks? How come Negroes claim that they're either Christian or Muslim, but they don't really believe in God? They believe in people that beat them up and bully them and mistreat them and cheat them, don't pay reparations. I don't get it.
Well, these are good questions to ask, but we Reed also they talking about his criminal past of him allegedly.
His criminal past doesn't make him a murderer.
I agree. But he's not a near perfect person of color, though. That's why. I mean, I'm just saying,
there is no perfect person of color. The minute they get you in court, the minute they say, every week there's a new person that's been in jail 10, 20, 30, 40 years who insisted they were innocent. The black man that went to jail because the white woman dreamed about getting some black dick for real, and he's got to go to jail. That's old. You know what? And you know what else is old? Black cowardice, black stupidity, black laziness, black conformity to its oppression. That's old. In fact, I'm more sick of it because if we got really tired of stuff, it changed. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. The little nasty, freaky, creepy white gentleman who's on the city council in D.C. who claimed that prostitution and male prostitution would create jobs for black people. Within the last month,
not 10 years ago, just a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
Was on the city council for years. When he did all this racist stuff, I couldn't sit down. I was here with my running buddy. I got up and started getting names of different ministers of people, organizations, pointing him out, saying we need to recall his ass. So we just need 1,000 people. There's 750,000 people in the city. We need 1 in 750 people to send his ass back to where he came from. We can get him. I know I can get him as nasty as he is. You know what happened? Like I said, prostitution failed because a couple of us said no to it. He's no longer running for public office. He's afraid to run. Because some people will come after him. It's interesting. What I hate about black Americans, I hate it. We can kill each other over an insult or the wrong look or a fish sandwich. But people who destroy us can live to be older than Methuselah without a scratch. Without a scratch. Not even a headache. If someone mistreats me, I believe they should suffer too. If racist people had as much problems as we did, a lot of stuff would be different. But you know what? We make it easy for people to screw us. It's like a rape victim saying, excuse me, sir, if you take your knife off my neck, I can reach into my purse and get my KY jelly.
Oh, my God.
Don't say, oh, my God. That's what black people do. They make it easier, facilitate the abuse. And then, you know what? That same person, the rape victim, will give the EMS person a hard time. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Well, you're just too close to me. Well, why do you need my phone number? Right? Same with the black woman likes a no-good black man. The black man to throw her off an apartment building. She'll want to have his children. Dude give her some flowers with thorns. She'll beat him with it. Or the same way the black man has a good black woman abandon her to get a white woman from the trailer park who takes his ass to child court, saddles him with someone else's basket, and he ends up living in a bakery truck, and he still loves the half-white kids and hates the black kids. We're very, very, very off. And we can get it right, but it will require having some ethics and some morality. And that is at the heart of the gay movement and all the other movements, is to destroy core fundamental godly principles that used to exist in our people. In fact, one of the homes of black morality is Memphis. When the Church of God in Christ was truly the greatest moral instrument in the humanity of black people, that did come out of Memphis. Or should I say out of Arkansas, and Mississippi, but through Memphis we learned about it. Charles Harrison Mason, great man. No, there will never be another person. Another person like him. My God, we need about a whole bunch of these people, and even the one he broke off with, Jones. Okay. It all came out of Mississippi.
What Dr. King said, he said we integrate into a burning house, right? And let us be like firemen and put it out. We should have just left the burning house, let it burn.
Right, let it burn. And Dr. King, can you imagine? It doesn't really matter to me right now, for I've seen the mountaintop. Okay, right. But Dr. King was even Dr. King, you know what? I think I told you when I saw the woman who used to be his mistress, and I gave her a hug and took pictures.
It was in L.A.? Was it Los Angeles or where?
It was in Durban, South Africa. I met Dorothy Cotton. I was like, wow.
She passed away last year, right? Miss Cotton passed away last year? Okay, so many of them dying now. Yeah. She still looked good. I see why Dr. King was able to march after getting beat. What? Which one you talking about now? You talking about his mistress?
Yeah, she was his mistress.
Yeah. Okay.
And she kept her mouth shut too. Okay, if it were now, the woman would want to be our Oprah. Yeah, I'm screwing Dr. Hurd. I screw Hurd. He's good for about 35 minutes, then he passes out. I read my book. Ron Hurd can only do it for 30. He's not a 60-minute man. He's a 35-minute man. You know, they'd be on TV.
You're right.
you know, they'd be on TV and this is a tattoo. I put this on my left buttock because that's the one he would grab. That's what the handprint is. That's my T-spot. Yeah, don't zoom on that, but y'all can see a picture. You know, we've gotten really, really, really trifling.
You're right.
I don't. It's like God say, this is not the black community I came up in. We are devolving, not evolving. And there is hope, but that's what I'm thinking. Let me tell you, these little diseases and all. By the way, did you hear about the new strain of AIDS they found?
What's that about?
What's it about? This hope is not crawling up your sheath, man. You know, it's like a spider crawling up your thing, but you don't see it. There's a new strain of AIDS. There are about 3 or 4 strains of AIDS, and this thing they just found. So no, just watch. You're gonna see a whole lot of people. And by the way, let me just put this out here. I'm going to piss off somebody. They may as well. They messed with me a long time ago. You know Keith Boykin, the one that looks like the chocolate skeleton that comes on CNN and his clothes don't fit. Now, he and I are about a year or so apart of the same age. Do you look how old he is, how old he looks? That's not the diet. I wonder if he uses those retrovirals because he's looking old. He's all bald-headed.
He's been bald-headed for a while, though, Dr. Shorthead. I mean,
but I think skinny and bald-headed, all gaunt-looking.
Okay.
I've seen spare ribs in the Chinese store with more meat on them.
Wow.
And by the way, and he's always against Trump. That's and.
You know what? I hope people go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking about Roger Stone too. They try to stop one of Trump's most effective operatives from helping them be reelected. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Like a conspiracy to get all his people. They actually helped him in jail.
Yes, which says that they don't think they can win.
And it's sad. It's really sad. It says a lot.
Well, they don't have a good candidate. Look, Kamala Harris. I told you she's a tramp. I don't respect her. You don't respect her either. And she's not black.
Okay.
No. She's not black. And I don't care who says she's black. Okay. I know St. Bernards are black. They're not African American. So let's not do that, right? Then the Rocket Man. Elizabeth Warren. You know she looked like Elton John. She does.
Yeah, she does. We think about it. Yeah.
Rocket Man. Rocket Man ain't gonna get it, and Rocket Man's a racist. Deval Patrick ain't done nothing for black people in the Massachusetts. Come on, give me another name. Oh, Bernie Sanders, he's not gonna win. He's a communist.
Oh, Cory Booker.
Cory Booker, he looks like Mr. Clean with no earring. I mean, no, and he's the one that people, and he's the one that did that deal for the water to be poisoned in Newark. They've been nice to him. Wow. He better not run. What about on top of that, they've been quiet about him. Remember, the white guy said that Cory Booker tried to rape him in the men's room. Look, one thing I say, gay folk get their sex, right? Cory, you don't have to take booty. You're a big guy. There's someone, and you're not too dark.
Well, you got Rosario Dawson. I thought they probably be madly in love, him and Rosario Dawson.
Well, why don't you fucking marry some of these women you madly in love with? You got the money. Look,
he was dating Oprah's best friend, right? At one point. What's her name?
If I had Gail.
Yeah, he was with her at one point.
I thought Gail was Oprah's marriage prospect.
Well, it's all confusing me. You know how it goes. Man,
no, you're not confused. These are all people playing us off. So look. Cory Booker, in fact, if you saw it, I won't put that out there. Something that Mr. Stone said a long time ago. Well, I'll tell you a joke he sent me. He said, if Cory Booker is straight, I'm a vegetarian. And he sent me a picture of him eating a big 2-inch thick steak.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
Okay, I'm not saying it's true. I don't know. A part of me does not care. On one level, see, here it is. I always say to people, I like James Baldwin. I mean, I really artwork. There's a lot of people I like. It's not about this I hate people. It's about the politics. James Baldwin's politics were black. Cory Booker's politics are gay. And I have a problem with that. And James Baldwin openly screwed white men.
But did James encourage William Styron to like slander Nat Turner?
He told him to write his book and let Negroes write their book.
Okay.
I didn't say James Baldwin was perfect, and I have multiple copies of Styron's book, and I'm in the extended family of Nat Turner. Of course, I don't appreciate it, but how many black folks went to see the Birth of a Nation film after that dude struggled to bring that to the film? That should have had $100 million box. You did. We can't carry the trifling black people in our community that never come along with us. Yet, if you had a bunch of sex scenes between Nat Turner and Abraham Lincoln, you could have got that place full.